Some of you have been here before. Some of you are new. The cloth of creation comes to help people realize what's happening now, why the world is in such an intense state. What are we doing? What's happening? Why is it like that? Why are there incidences, situations throughout the world that have become so intense? That's because the energetics that are here now are what we have waited for centuries. These are the evolution of all life. This is not just changing life. This is not just renewing life. This is not coming forth in a new form of the energies that have been here. This is the energetics of evolution. This is the next step. And that's why everything is evolving. Here comes the part where we all can actively participate in bringing these energetic waves, when they do come to ground, into it doesn't have to be in a crash. It can be in a gentle way. So just by our very beings, our acts, when we say the act of doing becomes the state of being, it's very real, folks. What that means is that act of doing may be simply a thought, a feeling, something that's within you that has...
Linda Salvador.
Okay. Joseph, if you can mute, please.
All right. I'll put it on mute.
Okay. So that the energetic wave that is here, those waves are cresting. They're going higher and higher and higher. So just by each and every one of us being consciously aware of ourselves and how that we are thinking, being, doing, that simple sense, that perceptual ping, by paying attention to that, we can assist in those energetic waves when they come to ground, they come to shore, don't come as a shock wave. Come in a gentle, smooth merging with the land, with the shore. Up to us. Up to us. It's no longer about the personal, not that it ever was, but now the understanding, the knowing of that is more important, more essential than it ever has been before. It is seriously vital that each and every one of us no longer source through the personal, our own little tiny corner of that cloth of creation. How is it that you can get yourself out of that little corner and back and into the world, into life, humanity in all its forms? Life itself, all life. How can we do that? How is it that you justify what you do or don't do by some story of the lower self that says, oh no, you can't do that because it's too close, it's too far, it's too much, it's too little, you're going to be this, it's going to have this, that's all the illusions of the lower self, and that's all personal. So the energetics that are here now, by each and every one of us consciously assisting these energetic waves, coming together in the one that we are, that can pass. That can be an old construct that no longer stands because there's no more foundation for it to stand on. That personal foundation is gone. Okay, now this doesn't mean that everybody's going to like what you like. that everybody's going to do what you want to do. It's not going to be as you would have it. In fact, it's quite the opposite of all of that. That we each do have, and will continue to have free will. Yet our intent will be of we are one. So that means that there's no need to source through the personal. Well, how is it going to serve you? How is it going to keep you safe? How does it go beyond that? When we shift into perceiving what is the possibility, the joy, the peace is beyond anything that is even describable. And what we're going to do this evening in this call is take a bit of a journey here to just have a look of how it is when we reach higher grounds, when we go higher, when we ride on the crest of these waves rather than getting tangled in the undertow because of personal baggage, personal constructs. What it can be like to be as one, as together we go higher. This is not fiction, folks. This is not fantasy. This is not daydreaming, wish, beliefs of some fantasy, happily ever after kind of thing. No, that wouldn't have any foundation. That would have nothing solid. So if we, each and every one of us, know that we can go beyond the personal. And folks, we're human. We're going to be human at least for the rest of this life. So that means you can get better at being human. So yeah, you go ahead, you get angry. And this time, when you throw something, you don't do it with the intent to hurt. You don't throw something that becomes toxic and poisonous, because there's a thing about poison, if you splash it out on others, it will splash back on you. So you go ahead, you get angry, but you get angry in the primal sense that anger is. Only when anger gets caught in the story of the lower self, it becomes an emotion that is completely built of what has been, what could happen, of all the fears of what has been in the past but isn't now. Unresolved businesses, so to speak. Unresolved business. So when we source that through the primal sense of anger, then we know what we know. Sniff it out, just like any creature of the wild does. Sniffs whatever is around, and this way lives fully. Not in fear, just knowing. And being respectful of self, of others, and all others' territories. Now that brings us to the global consciousness that we see these days and have seen for some time now. How it seems that when people encroach on other people's territories, others react in a violent way. Okay. Well, this is not to say that we don't have the right for boundaries. Of course we do. But is it to mean that those boundaries make us walled in? Because you see, there's something about that. When we wall ourselves in, nothing can get in, but we can't get out either. And that goes with this, folks. We are the keepers, the guardians of the land. We don't own it. If one were to look at the land energetically, at the world, you're not going to see boundaries or lines that say this is this country and this is this country. You will see difference in energetics, but you're not going to see boundaries. Okay? You're not going to see walls, I should say. So does that mean that we permit anyone to do whatever he or she wants? No. What that means is that we shift higher. Once again, we shift higher, crest of that wave, and see where it is that we all can come together, where it's going to come down. But it can only be if we do this as one. So the question comes for all of you, are you willing to do whatever it takes unconditionally, irregardless of what the lower self even now has started to shiver in? Oh, well, that means that. Oh, well, don't have enough money, don't have enough time. Should we do that? Is it safe? But my back, my foot, my left part of my ankle, I can't let that out. It could be hurt. Okay. So does that mean that we do things only from a comfort safety zone? In fact, we can't do it from a comfort safety zone. There is the necessity to step outside, to do whatever it takes. Doing things that you never dreamed you would ever do, but you do it because you know it is what must be done, and you do it because you are a vessel of light. To do whatever it is that you are called to do, wherever you are called to do it, for however long that you are called to do it unconditionally. This is what we must all do now. So I'm going to ask Joseph to open the phones just for a little bit, and that any of you who would like to say a bit on the teachings that were just given before we go and have a look at what the energetics look like.
Well, in what you said and my experience of it, I throughout the day I get led and guided to do all sorts of things, and I find that, when I actually, listen to that higher self-perceptual guidance, it just basically continues the flow, and basically the higher self's always there, basically trying to get people and things to wake up, more or less. And if I don't listen to that, I can feel that, I can feel that sort of disconnect that happens from not listening to it. So it just feels like it's that more important to listen to it now because I can physically feel it.
Well, that you said a word there that is a very good and accurate way to say this. Disconnect. The separation of the lower self and the higher self. The lower self being the human who wants to stay safe. It was born, it's going to die, it's terrified, it's going to do that every moment. So in that moment, everything that it does is for the very fact of keeping it safe. And it's illusion. When it soars through the higher self, the higher perceptual primal self, as you say, it goes smoothly. So yes, that was good. Very good. Well done. Anyone else? Don't be shy. People would like to hear what you have.
How did I want to go back to like the beginning of man, and how did man start getting all these fears? And these are the fears that we have obtained, like darkness and, scary animals and things like that. If we were to act like animals, and like what you said, sniff out everything, why didn't man start out like animals? Why didn't they?
They did.
So how did we get like this? Over
thousands of years. We're going to do a little doing tracking. When we do that, you're going to see this. In the moment that humans found that they could create stories to feel safe. Things started to shift out of what has been known as collective consciousness, if you will, many different ways, but the sense of community doing what one did for him or herself served everyone in that community, that began to shift from that to what served that person or that person's part of the community. That started to shift. It had the ripple effect. This is what I see about it. This is what I'm being shown about that. So because we know it is an established fact that when we live in an Ayllusuyu being the Quechua word meaning community, a perfect word, folks, Ayllusuyu. This is what community is. When we live in community of that sort, Ayllusuyu, we each have our individual likes and dislikes. We each do what we like to do, but it's not with the intent that it will ever encroach on someone else. It won't be because it's more important than anyone else. It is equal here. Folks, another Quechua word, Ayllusuyu. Perfect reciprocity. This is what it's about. How has things become unbalanced? Okay. Well, this is why when we're going to work at the energetic, we see this. Some of you who have been with us before, we've traveled through the K-Pacha. The K-Pacha is the middle world, or what we know to be the energetic grid, if you will, of the Pachamama, the Mother Earth. So when we travel and we see the K-Pacha, we see its state. Is it in perfect balance? Is it in how does it flow? Is it flowing smoothly or is it not? Where do we see this and what do we do about this? We come together as one, and that clears those flows more and more and more. So before I ask you to mute the phones again, Joseph, anyone got anything about that? Okay. Then what we're going to do, you can mute the phones, Joseph.
All right.
Gentleness. You know, every week I ask the Sacred Ones of Light, show me what is to be brought through our gathering this evening. And I kept getting all day long, gentleness. How is it, are we being gentle with each other? How are we being gentle with ourselves? How are we being forceful when it doesn't need to be? So that's being woven here through the energetic. We're going to have a look at the K-Pacha and see any shifts that have happened. There has been some major happenings. Ebola. The virus that's been affecting children. And, of course, the factions like ISIS and all of those, and many other things. Okay. Let's have a look at that. Does it have to be a shock wave that's coming to ground? No. If it comes to ground through gentle strength, it comes smoothly, it comes cleanly, it comes strongly, without force. So let us have a look at the K-Pacha. And I'm going to ask all of you to center and ground. Find your centers, center and ground. Letting the day be set aside, no longer of concern now. You're standing on Mother Earth, the Pachamama. Let all of the day simply melt away. Sitting next to you, sitting away from you, not within you now. They're there for you to pick up when we come back if you want to. But in this moment, find your breath. Where is it? Is it choppy? Is it shallow? Is it in your belly? Is it in your chest? Are you breathing? Is it moving throughout all of you? Take a moment now in this place of center, of stillness, grounded, feet firmly rooted with the Pachamama. Take a deep breath, pulling it all the way up, letting all come up with that. And breathe it out gently. Letting the day go. No need to carry this with you. Let's do that twice more. And with that release of breath, we begin to go higher now. Above the land, above the forest, the jungles, the trees, the mountains, into the sky, past the clouds. And as we break free of the atmosphere of the earth, of Pachamama, our condor awaits. We fly on the wings of Star Condor. We perceive the glowing energetic grid known as the K-Pacha. Within the Pachamama, what do you see? What do you perceive? This may be through sense, it may be through sight, it may be perceiving color, sound, texture, weight. What do you see? Where is it bright? Where is it not? Your primal self is with you. This is the one that sees. This is the one that perceives. Where does it perceive? Not the physical origin of the Ebola and the viruses. Where is it at the energetic? Went out of Ini, became not intact. What happened? The faction ISIS and other factions and things like that. The discord between countries. See this energetic cross. This cross of creation is Jayapatra. And see the light, the brightness, life itself, the light itself flowing through the Jayapatra. And in that flow are the seeds, the remembering that we are one. Flowing to these places. Seeing the flow, sensing it. Do not engage it. Observe only. This is not for you to take on. It is not for you. Observe only. Observe only. Take a deep breath. Sniff in this breath of life, this pulsing, vital, refreshing life, the light itself. Refreshing you as it refreshes all, knowing that what you do for yourself, you do for the greater good, not because it serves you only, but because it serves us all. Thanking Star Condor and giving your gifts of gratitude and love. Moonlight to Star Condor. Return now, gently yet steadily, into your physical bodies, physically here. Returning now fully, completely into your current physical body in this time and place. Be fully in your body now. Touching the Pachamama. Fully coming here into your body where you are. Be here. Return fully now into your physical bodies. Joseph, you can open the phone so that anyone would like to say what it is you perceive in that journey.
Right.
I perceived during the journey a ascending and forgetting about the Ebola and ISIS and just forgetting all of it, and then perceiving blackness like a tar. And then when you mentioned the words again, ISIS and Ebola, I remembered, and it just seemed so evident that that's why I was seeing such blackness.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. This is why we travel to the Kepacha, so you can see this cloth of creation, the energetic itself, what is happening, and what we can do in the one that we are to clear that. Yes. Well done. About the rest of you, anybody?
I saw dark, tar-like people. Not that they weren't people, but they were looked like the skeleton, a black type skeleton type, real tall and long and tarry.
Now,
and
if you
before
look at
that,
yeah, go ahead.
And before that, I was seeing pockets of red. Before you even mentioned Ebola or anything like that, before we even really started on the journey, I was seeing pockets of red. Kind of like lava.
Okay.
But then all of a sudden, those darkness creatures came in, and they just were like tarry looking, dripping.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't look like people, but they were like some kind of a creature. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you see, this is when we say we are one. Both Mary Lou and Allison have just brought that out very, very clearly. They both saw the same thing.
Yes.
And it's quite possible so did the other. Everyone else here saw that, perceived it, sensed it in some way. This is why we are one. Well done.
She said that. I was like, wow.
Yeah. How about the rest of you? Anybody else?
Well, when you said perceived the K-Pacha, I kind of saw it as, this time, it was more like a, almost like you could see like a kaleidoscope trying to like transform, or in the process of moving into like a new form, and I just saw different parts, around the world that were basically just trying to desperately to like transform, but there was something holding it back, or there was a lot of things holding it back. And then when you said perceive the source of Ebola and whatnot, everything else, I just saw sorcerers, and I saw just people manipulating information, manipulating things, and that's what I saw when you said that. And yeah, that's about it.
Well, that's big enough. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Sorcery. Okay. Beyond the Hollywood version of what a sorcerer is, let me talk a little bit about that. You can mute the phones again, please, Joseph.
All right.
All done?
Yep.
Okay. Sorcery. Okay, there's all sorts of ideas of what that is. Hollywood giving us good fictional ways about that to a certain extent. Sorcery is about personal power. A sorcerer will ruthlessly do whatever he or she wants to do to gain personal power. Those who are clear and are true vessels of light know that it's not about power, and it never was. So we will have no engagements of that type. We see sorcery in many ways throughout the world. People who don't even know what the word, have maybe never even heard the word, but are engaging life through sorcery of some sort, some need of personal power. So in this way, we are aware that we're not doing that. That not only are we not doing it, we will have nothing to do with it, and we'll do nothing to see that it can take place. So perhaps now, you who saw the blackness, saw what was there. These are pockets, if you will, or more than that, of that intent of personal power taking place. Perhaps now you can better understand why it is that we must, how seriously vital it is that we come together in the one that we are, that we must step in together to clear that, to go higher, to go above that. Because you see, when the physical body dies and is gone, what's left? Spirit. Spirit is pure energy. It's eternal. So each body that's taken, the knowledge that is gained through that life goes with spirit, not the personal of each of those lives, just the knowledge why that life ever was, why it is a person was born, why did spirit choose that life. So taking that into full consciousness, your choice then of going through personal constructs and running that risk of that fine line of stepping over into sorcery through lower self-fears, or going above that and doing whatever it takes to get clear of that. Gentleness with yourself. We tend to not be gentle with ourselves when the fears become running rampant. When they're running rampant, it's very difficult to be gentle with oneself. Very difficult. Because that means that you don't tough things out. Do things the hard way. That means you do things the way that best serves, however it's meant to be. And that can be through gentleness. What has this got to do with what we're working tonight? Let's ask you to turn the phone back on for a moment so any of you can answer that question. What has that got to do with what we're working with this evening? Turn back on, are we?
Yep, we're good.
Okay. What does any of you have of that question? Anybody?
Are you asking what is the gentleness having to do with the subject of the Ebola and all of that? Is that what the question is?
The question is, what does what was just said have to do with what we're working with tonight?
Taking oneself out of your comfort zone.
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, to me, the opposite of gentleness would be kind of hardness and sort of reserved sort of hardness rather than openness and receptivity to whatever's there. And I feel like that's really the opposite of it. But yeah, it's if you're open to something, it'll happen. If you're not, then it won't. That's the way it works.
That's right.
I think what comes to my mind is forgiveness.
That's certainly part of it. Because resistance is very harsh. There's no gentleness in resistance.
I think resistance is what causes pain in the body.
It's certainly one of them.
Mm-hmm.
One of it, sure. Sure. Because that's hard. That's not being gentle at all. And that's the lower self wanting to stay safe. That it justifies its need to stay safe through these stories, and so resists what truly is, what actually is. That's not being gentle at all. So as we take this further throughout the world, how is it that there are situations throughout the world where there is resistance to anything other than what those people, those groups, whatever it is, that it must be that way only, resisting all
because
others.
they don't want to change. Nobody wants to change because they are afraid.
You got it. And it does require that one step way out of their comfort, safety zone and to do whatever it takes unconditionally. With no excuses. Because you see, the lower self is very good at writing justifiable excuses. Very good at that. And that's where you, who are the higher perceptual primal self, say, stop that. We're going anyway. So what about the rest of you? Anybody else? No? Okay. And you can put the phones on mute again, please.
Yep.
Okay. Then let's have a look then at the possibilities of what can be, if it is, each one of us, through gentle strength, looked within ourselves and saw the resistance that's there, the justifiable reasons, excuses for not doing what you have known for a very long time, perhaps your whole life, what you were to do. What has been held in through resistance, which is harsh, instead of the gentle strength that lets go of resistance and simply steps in, doing whatever it takes. How would it be if each and every one of us did that? When there is peace within each person, there will be no more war between nations. This is important. So that means that being honest with yourself, instead of, yeah, but that doesn't apply to that thing or that situation or that incident. Sure it does. If anything, it applies more than ever. So take it further, how it is that the situations, the global situations, how are those where it's being justified why people are doing certain things in certain ways. Why it's justified to do this to those people because they've done this. Why is that so? Okay. Does that mean that those who do violence and harm should be permitted to just go on? No, that's not what it means at all. What that means is that we come together in the one that we are, so that that intent is no longer in the weave, simply because it is not permitted. Somewhere along the weave, it became permissible to weave that in. So we look at what's present today in every aspect of everyday life, media, you name it, just about things that are considered matter-of-fact permissible today. If one were to look at that energetically, you might have another thought about that or see it differently. But how about if we just do that? To take a little bit of a journey here. And in this time, when we journey, call on your primal self to come with you so that you can see through its eyes, sense what it senses, know what it knows, sees what it sees, sniffs what it sniffs, and know what simply can be done through gentle strength, so those strands are no longer in the cloth of creation. How about that? Okay. I'm going to ask all of you to center and ground once more and call on your primal self to run with you, to see through its eyes. Perceive. Envision a woven cloth. Vast, infinite threads, strands, patterns, colors, designs. Perceiving this cloth, for this is the energetic itself. Perceive. Perceive what is intact within that weave and what is not. What has been woven in through the personal over the centuries. What has it done to the original design? What do you perceive? What do you see? Let your primal self see it, sense it, smell it. What do you see? What do you perceive? Do not engage this just simply within yourself. Help this weave. Assist this weave. Return to its intact state by you bringing your own energetic body, your cloth, into a state of intact. Letting all that justifiable excuses out and gone. What has become permissible, see it in this cloth, the energetic itself. What happens? These things that truly serve none, only shadow. Knowing that the light works with you, the shadow works on you. What do you perceive? And what can you do in your everyday personal life? Eradicate those strands from the cloth of creation. What can you do? Yeah. No one person can do this. We must do this together. It's a lot of work, yes. But it took a lot to weave it in. So together we begin simply to pull out what no longer serves, to eradicate it. So these energetics that are here now weave anew, enlivening, enlightening, embodying the light itself in its pulsing, vital vitality that it is. Gentle, strong, joyously, delightfully. Remembering we are not alone, we never were. Returning now to your physical bodies, your primal self merging within you once again. Giving it gifts of thanks and gratitude, of love, Munai, compassion, feeding it. No more hunger, no more thirst. Let it relax now, rest. Return now completely to your physical body, your primal self merging within you once more. And to this time and place, breathe. Deep breaths from your belly. Breathe. Returning to your bodies. For each exhalation, you are more grounded in your bodies. Okay, Joseph, you can open the phones.
All right.
Okay, folks, any of you, what did you see? trying to get back in your bodies, folks. Be here. What did you perceive?
I saw a counterclockwise, steady motion. That it was a small, beautiful sea creature that was moving in a counterclockwise motion.
Okay. What did any of you perceive as the strands of what has become permissible? That does not truly serve all. Yes.
I could see a black strand within a bright blue and yellow and green pattern. The black strand woven in tightly, and then I could perceive many people pulling it out.
Okay. How about anyone else? Very good. Anyone else? Remember, there's no right or wrong with this. Everybody perceives in his or her own way. There is no one way to perceive. Some people see, some people sense, some people just simply through an intuitive sense know what's there. Some see it as color, some see it as sound, some see it even as smell. So there's no right or wrong way.
Fran, I actually was having a really rough time. I was burping a lot. And I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but it's almost like a purging type thing.
Okay, well that
I just kept,
could be you.
I mean,
that could be the purging of your own personal. Yeah.
I had to get up, to stand up.
Certainly so. Anyone else? The reason why I encourage all of you to participate is because we are all one. This is not only me talking. You see, no Ayllusuyu is made of one person. Everyone is of equal importance. So each and every one of you have something that will serve all. So if you can see how it is that perhaps your lower self is trying to convince you not to say a thing, just say it anyway.
Light, where there's dark, there's always light. Darkness will step aside for the light. That's what I was thinking while that was going on.
The dark cannot withstand the light. That is true.
No.
How about the rest of you? What are you coming to know about the energetic, about the K-Pacha, about what's happening in the world today?
It affects everybody.
It doesn't have to affect, the energy doesn't have to come in to personally my body. I see it, and I try to avoid news and all of that, but it's going to come in anyway, and it does come. It affects me through my dream mind. That's when it takes a toll. It doesn't take a toll during the day, but it takes a toll during the night.
Well, you see, dreams are very, very important, are vital for people to come to understand consciously what dreams are. This is there's different categories of dreams, and perhaps on one of these calls we will work just with dreams.
Yeah.
How about
that.
Would all of you like that, guys?
I've been asking for that for some time.
Okay. Yeah. Well, maybe next Monday that we got dreams. But there are different categories of dreams. And the one that usually comes first is what I call the daily review of what's just happened during the day. It's as though it's being mulched. So instead of, and if you are a conscious dreamer, you know that. And you see it for what it is. And you let it just be like a newsreel and just go on through. The other categories shows you what's being worked at the energetic and how you can participate. And since you're all saying yes, you would like to have one of these gatherings to be on dreams, we certainly can do that. And I will go much more into it then. But so, yes, what happens, whether you see it on the news or hear about it somewhere or just simply feel it, it will show up in the dreams. But to know that, not to take it on personally. And the dreams is a perfect place, if you will, to work the energetic because the physical form is not there. Yeah. So you can, in that place, in that moment, work the energetic, weave what's in the way, what's out of ini, how is the weave intact, where has it become harsh, where is it gently moving, where is it not. Work it at the energetic. And this would be very, very good. Yeah. Go ahead.
So maybe you could say before you start to drift off where you want to go, like what you just said about looking at the planet and seeing where.
Yes.
Well, maybe you could just say that out loud, and you could, when you drift off, maybe, that would help you go there.
It will. Now, if I am working on something, I will say, okay, tonight I'll take this into my dreams, and I will work it through my dreams. So, yes, you can do that.
Yeah.
So I'm delighted that all of you would like to have some dream work. And when we go into that, then I will go into different ways to go into dreams, what dreams are, what you can do in the dream to be what's called a lucid dreamer, and how it is you can retain what you gain there. So, yeah, very, very good. Now, how does that help the global consciousness? How would you all say that it would help?
Just the energy of it.
That's right.
Help.
That's it. Yes, that's it exactly, because the physical is out of the way then. Spirit, who is pure energy, is limitless, eternal, and can freely, without limit, move through dream. So yes, yes. Very, very good.
Body.
Well, that's a little different. That's another whole other thing. And
so what you dream does actually leave your body too? What your subconscious
spirit
does.
Spirit can travel. Spirit can travel. Spirit does travel.
Yeah.
But an out of body experience, that's something different altogether. That's not true sleep. That's something else.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I had that one time, my father.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I know we are getting close to the close of this gathering this evening. anyone would like to share something before we complete for the evening?
I would like to share something. When I first talked to you again, Fran, you asked if I met my spirit guide. Last night, in a dream, I met my spirit guide, and
cool.
the name is Evan.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
I met mine too. Mine's Isaac.
Isaac. Evan helped me today too. Evan showed me.
That's good.
Yeah, very much so. So I'm excited about that.
It's me. Yeah, did that a long time ago. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Did he show you what he looked like?
No, I'm letting Evan be what he or they or she is, and they'll show me. I'm going to see. Mhm.
And I should mention this too, that it can take on different form as what best serves in the moment.
Yes.
So it can be that at one time it might be a cat.
Well,
next
it came
time
through
it
my
might
cat.
be a human. Yeah.
Fran, my cat that passed, brought
Yes.
the information to me in my dream. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. My girls do that too.
Mhm.
Aww.
My cat, who is my big fat EC furry little son, I know he knows when his sisters are here because he's
they
like,
know.
Okay, what is she doing now?
Mhm.
You guys work it out. Mom is busy. Very, very good. So, folks, what have you come to know from this evening's gathering?
We are one.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say that, if you want to be a part of next week's call, make sure to write down, remember your dreams, and, we can bring that up and make that a part of it, too, if y'all want to.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Well done, Joseph. Yeah.
It's always good to bring them up. It's something, that sort of doesn't get all the attention it deserves, but it's very important.
If it serves next week, because dreams, there's a lot to dreams. There's lots to dreams. We can either make it a 2-hour gathering next week, and if we are not complete, we can take it into the following week as well. So we can go with that. It is a very, very important. Yes, that's an excellent suggestion, Joseph, that during this week until next week, if you haven't got a dream journal, you might want to begin one. Now, sometimes people find that difficult to write down their dreams because it starts to fade. Very often, if there was some kind of, what I can say is this, you can also record it. That can keep it fresher, so that right by your bed, so that as soon as you open your eyes, and it can be even during the night if need be, if you have a partner, you just tell your partner, go back to sleep, I got this. And
then you're getting a big argument in the morning.
But your
partner,
understand, though, your partner will know you by now and say, you're doing that. Okay, fine. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow. So, at any rate, recording very often can be much easier for folks because it stays much fresher. And you can also tell yourself before you sleep that you will remember your dreams.
Remember your dreams.
And tell yourself that you will. And that takes a little time, but it does happen. I can tell you I remember dreams from 20 years ago. Wow, and as clear as those that I had it last night. But it takes time, and just see what happens. And then when we meet next week, we'll get into all the different categories of dreams and just how it is you can work with this. And because the calls of creation calls are of the assistance of the energetic wave that is here for that of the global and beyond, you're going to find that as you dream, it does move through the energetic. So the less that your dreams, you take your dreams personally as some kind of reward punishment system, but rather as something you did right, something you did wrong, taking that out of that, that moves through the energetic and clears it even more. How about that, folks?
Yes.
This is great. Yes. So let us take, before we complete for the evening, let us together center and ground once more. So, Psyche, one real Galita Pocha.
What was that?
Psyche, Inti Saisa. Psyche, Mama Killa. So, Psyche, one real Pukunya. So, Psyche. What are you? With deep gratitude, we are humbled that you are with us, you who are the sacred ones of light, walking with us, at our side, within us, around us. All of us, human and non-human. We ask your help so that we too, all of us, can be the pure vessels of light that we are meant to be, honoring that vow of light we all took before we were born into any physical body. You who are the sacred angels of light, sacred archangels of light, the sacred warriors of light, the sacred guardians of light, the sacred teachers of light, the sacred keepers of light, the sacred guides of light, the sacred mountains who are the light, the sacred places of light, the sacred protectors of light, the sacred healers of light, you who are the sacred feminine, you who are the sacred masculine. We are humbly grateful for your touch, for your help, for your love. So, Psyche. Thank you all. Thank you.
That was beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you.
This was in the language Quechua, which is one of the languages of Peru and the language of the Inca. We thank you all. Good dreams, folks.
Yes.
Pleasant dreams.
Okay. And we'll see you next week.
Okay.
Thank you for having.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.